That ain't on your more. I'm just saying you bought your good stuff out today, socks and everything.
Older than us in college, and at the time we were kind of cooler than him. And you know, normally you know how the junior going to a freshman to try to be friends with him, but we just so happened to let him in our group when we was in college, and the rest is history.
And if you really believe that, you know, it's lying. Like this guy right here, you know. So I'll say this: they've had a business mindset since in college. They had a group, a party promotion group, whatever. And you know, the party really wasn't. What's the best way to put it? It was a lot of lessons learned. They made a lot of mistakes that we were talking about earlier. So the parties really didn't crack off like that. So, however, what they used to do is, since I was an upperclassman and I had a network of people, and they would come to me and say, "Hey, you know, would you mind coming to our party?" I said, "I'm gonna see. I'm gonna check. Let me holler at my people." So you know, we would come up, we'll pull up to the party, and you know, and then you see the smile on his face, and they're like,
Yeah, right, dude.
So you know, and that's how it came today, where we all end up pledging, you know, for Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and I was kind of the lead person of our line. So that's kind of.
You see, you got different stories. I will let y'all determine the audience which one is true.
There's two. Was it 2 truths and a lie?
It's 2 truths and you lying. I'm sorry.
So, for those who don't know, what is VPG? Anyone can take it right?
I'll take it. I mean, VPG in its whole is a enterprise that has a real estate development arm, a construction arm, and a property management arm. So our motto is any development. We want to have the ability to buy it, to build it, and to manage it. And having each one of those verticals gives us flexibility, but also I think separates us from our competition. In that, we can own the process, from beginning to end. And even within, those verticals, we can offer those services to our other clients. And so Vincent runs our construction division, which not only performs internally for us on the real estate side, but, for other clients as well, too. And that vertical itself is probably one of the fastest growing internally because we've been able to, be successful on some projects. But also be successful to our clients who want to give us repeat business as well too.
Okay. So what made you guys so that this was a prime location, prime market here within Louisiana? Did you think about any other states, or was this just it?
You got a good
I mean, I think, be transparent. Our business started here in New Orleans because that's where our jobs moved us originally. So when we came to New Orleans, we had this great idea about how we wanted to start a business, and our jobs happened to, have us here, move us here, with our recent promotion. And as we left our jobs, we saw, fertile soil here, post-Katrina opportunities here on the real estate side, and those other businesses started to morph, out of that, the management company specifically managing our assets. And then, as we saw this gap in the market for quality contractors, we just started the construction business. And, Vince was integral in helping us grow that with his experience at HBCUs, managing facilities, and he brought that real professionalism and experience that we needed on the construction side to really take it to the next level. And New Orleans, obviously a city that was devastated by Katrina, had a lot of opportunities for redevelopment. So I don't want to tell this story of, we saw New Orleans and, we did all of the, the research, say this is a great market. God blessed us to be in a space, where there was opportunity. And I think the three of us, took advantage of that and made sure that we provided a service where we saw gaps and needs.
Just what was one of your favorite projects thus far over the years? Let's start on this end.
Ooh. Favorite project? Man, that could be a double-edged sword right there. I would probably say one of my favorite projects. I'll give 2. Okay. So the first one would probably be we have a bank portfolio that we did, and a classmate of mine at Hampton, when I did my grad school at Hampton, her name is Crystal. She was starting out in the or the banking industry as far as dealing with facilities and construction. So she called me up. She knew we had a business here in New Orleans, and we've done small things kind of throughout different states, just through our federal background. But she called and said, hey, I got 4 banks, 2 in Dallas, 1 in Houston, 1 in Austin. And she was like, hey, can y'all do this, project for us? This is one of my first portfolio projects for the banking system, and I want to make sure I trust somebody. And just going back to my partners and telling them about it, they're like, man, we done no work in Texas. We got 4 projects at one time. And at first she was gonna give us 1, but then she looked at it and her boss was like, we just want 1 contract. So, we haven't done something like that before. So for us to put our heads together, and it had to be accomplished in, I think, 3 months.
Yeah.
So we did 4 banks in 3 months, and just us being able to just kind of put our thinking hats on, and we all have our own lanes that we stay in, that we're good at, that we learn from being pledging with each other, going to school with each other, being around each other's families. We kind of know our strong points. So having all 3 of us kind of come together and figure out that plan of action, just it really showed growth, showed that we could do other things. And then the other one, which is one of our most tasking jobs, was Bentonville, which was 20 townhomes in Mid-City. And that was one of our first projects that we've ever had as a general contractor, and one of the largest to date projects that we actually did. The outcome, we completed it, but there was a lot of obstacles and a lot of lessons learned that we were telling you about that was affected during the project. But that brought us together closer, as personally, professionally, and even spiritually as well. Brought the company closer, and has really developed the processes that we didn't have in place at that time. God sat us down and gave us one more opportunity to get it right, and that kind of concludes to me as far as one of my favorite projects to today.
And I echoed, I'm going to get 2 projects, one real estate construction, but I started on construction, and then piggybacking off density of 3,700 BMVille, is 20 condos, around 60,000 square feet that we built. It's around a $7.5 million project, and for me, it's my favorite project for the simple fact, it's the sexiest project, but also is one of the more challenging and ugliest projects behind the scenes. And I think what it did for us personally and from an organization perspective, it really taught us a lot of really good things. And all those things that we learned there, we incorporated, we implemented, and now we have the business that we have today because of that. And it also taught us how character and people is everything. Because in that particular project, we had some partners that we had some challenges with, and we value that tremendously right now. So partners, our team members, character is everything for us. And on the real estate side, my favorite project is 2712 First Street. It's a duplex. If you think about what a guy got shot at, that's where it's at. It's like 2 blocks off of MLK, and I say that's my favorite project. It's back in 2012. It was like the 3rd property we ever bought. It was 2 units, a duplex. And just that project stretched us out of our comfort zone, because we weren't used to being in an area where I personally seen someone get murdered. Mike, on a separate instance, seen someone get murdered. However, we still executed on this particular property. We rented it out and we eventually sold it. But for me, I said to myself, if we can figure out how to do this property right here, we can do anything. And that really just built that inner courage to get out your comfort zone and just grow. So that's what I say my project on the real estate side, my favorite one is.
It's a hard question. Like when you ask about somebody's favorite project, it's like picking your favorite kid. But I would say, the Banks Apartments is one of my favorite projects, or project I would like to highlight for the simple fact is, we talked about those 3 verticals, the real estate, the construction, and the management, and, we were able to execute on all 3 of them on a project, but, it was bigger than a financial gain. It was a community impact. When we took over that property, 60 days before we bought it, there was 4 people shot inside the apartment complex and 3 of them murdered. The day after we bought the property and we showed up to, a murder at the property. And, post us taking it over, we haven't had any violent crime, on that property. And that was just an opportunity for us to come in and change the physical appearance, but also the cultural appearance, of the property as well, to instill our management team and let people know that we care, our construction team to make the property look good and people to take care of it, and it's still a beacon, in the Algiers community. We think, to this day, it's where we hold our annual back to school bashes, where we have our neighborhood events. We've got a community garden there, and I think we had the last event, and we remember like the corridors were like off limits. That's where the gangs and everything and all the drug activity hang out, and so you were scared to walk through those corridors, but now there's kids that's walking through there. We walk through it, it's quiet, and that just shows the impact that we can make, in a community by doing what we love to do, but also being able to make a profit doing it as well too.
No. You was supposed to come up and say, I would have told him, you would have hoped them.